What is up, guys? Another unfortunate loss for UCLA. Just a complete embarrassment on what happened. An 82-59 drubbing at the hands of the Michigan State Spartans in the Breslin Center. We knew Tom Izzo is one of the premier coaches in all of college basketball. There's no secret to that. We knew this Michigan State Spartans team was really good, and they're going to have a shot anytime in March when they have a loaded roster like they have. But the biggest takeaway is just how inept this team is. And the question I would, ask the audience, ask the people watching right now is, has this team officially quit on Mick Cronin? I think my heart is saying yes at this point. Absolute drubbing. The team looks completely checked out once again. I mean, we're talking about Eric Daly once again, 2 shots, 3 points when they desperately need offense. It's just unbelievable. And I got Cornelius Pop here saying, might as well not even make the tournament. It will just be embarrassing. At this rate, yeah. I think the Illinois game on Saturday is the be-all, end-all for UCLA basketball. They have to win on Saturday against a top 10 Illinois Fighting Illini team to keep their hopes alive. This team is just despondent right now. And, let's start with just some of the bad, man. It's another game where Cronin just failed to get this team and roster ready to compete at a high level. And, I think Donovan Dent's a good player, but the combination of Mick Cronin with Donovan Dent is just oil and water. I don't know how else you could think otherwise of the pairing between the two. Just an abysmal performance from Dent tonight. 3 of 11 from the floor, multiple turnovers, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. It was just not a cohesive performance, and one that we've seen from Dent. Dent is best when he's playing free. He doesn't have to think too much about what's going on there. And I just think Mick, with his militaristic style, his disciplinarian style, it's beat the love of basketball out of these kids. And it works for some coaches. If they see results, if it gets the job done, sometimes it could happen. But I just think where Cronin is mentally right now and where this team is just physically right in front of us watching a game on a Tuesday night, this team needs a change. And the unfortunate thing I got to break to you guys, man, is it's not coming for a long time. This extension that was signed in the offseason for UCLA is a 5-year deal for Mick Cronin. Let's talk about the buyout, guys. So the buyout is going to be the big thing when it comes to this. Before April 1st, 2026, so this year, it is a $22.5 million buyout for UCLA if they want to fire Mick Cronin. You and I are both realistic people. We saw how long they waited for Chip to get in there, and Chip eventually was left to kind of his own devices when he left school to go to Ohio State because they refused to fire him, even though Chip was openly looking for other jobs, which is a terrible overall experience. Maybe Julio Frank brings a different aspect of that to the sports department, but at a $22.5 million buyout for this year alone, I don't think anything's going to get done, guys. I got to be frankly honest on that. Before April 1st, 2027, by the way, I want to shout out my guy Eric Woods for posting this. He's one of the best Bruin follows in the game. Before April 1st, 2027, so next year, before April 1st, Final Four weekend, it's $18 million. And then after that, it drops to 13.5. I think we got to stomach another year of Mick Cronin at the helm for UCLA, which I think is insane. It's a really tough time. This team clearly is not playing at a competitive rate, and it's the little things. We knew Michigan State was one of the best rebounding teams in the country, but they just demolished UCLA on the glass tonight. 38 rebounds compared to 27 for UCLA. It just felt like in that first half when they were piling on the points, a lot of it came on the offensive end. Too many offensive rebounds allowed by UCLA, 8 of them that got second chance opportunities for the Bruins to go against a Michigan State offense. It was just not a great time, man. We get some questions here. Benny Gomez saying, I feel bad for Jamerson. He did nothing wrong and did not deserve that embarrassment attitude from Cronin. Cronin, yeah, I've never seen anything like that where you just kind of banish your player to the locker room. It was a bad foul. I saw it on the behind view where he smacked the Michigan State forward going to the rim on the back of the head. It was a little bit toxic there. I think maybe the player overreacted a little bit, but yeah, I think to banish him to the locker room on a team that's already teetering on trust with their head coach, at least from how I view it, how this fan base views it, I thought that was a catastrophic mistake there from Cronin and just coaching 101. You want to, pump life into your players, breathe life into this team. You don't have to be such a hard ass all the time like Cronin is. And I think it's really just beat the joy out of this team. I think that's my 2 cents. There's no other way to look at it, man. We lost by 30 to the Michigan Wolverines. We lost by 23 tonight. That should have been like 26-28 at the very least. It was just a rough ordeal. And then I got my guy 49ers Rock. Shout out to you, man. I'm a Niners fan, as you know. So Jarman gave Foster, UCLA head coach with no experience, gave Cronin a 5-year deal in basketball season where players are quitting mid-game, and he constructed his roster to his liking. Yeah, it's a tough one. The contract extension for Mick is a tough one. There's no defense there. There's a lot I could say on that, but I'm going to steer clear of that for some obvious reasons. But when it comes to the contract itself, it looks like a catastrophic mistake right now. I don't think it's insane to say that Cronin, maybe after April 1st, if Julio wants to pony up and make a statement to UCLA fans, by the way, already bailed out the football program. He's going to have to bail out the basketball program 12 months into the job. Like, this is insane work. He is just inheriting a very tough situation, overlooking the university. But thankfully, we got a guy that does care about athletics. So I'm not going to completely rule it out. Does hurt that one of our top donors right now is, stepping down from his agency and stepping down he's getting asked to step down from the Olympic Committee. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. The guy whose name is repped on the football program was having text with Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's wife, back in the day. So just a lot of stuff up in the air right now for UCLA. And then we got our guy Kiki and Luca. Cronin is about as bad as Alford statistically, but it feels worse. Our expectations are so low under Cronin. That's the thing, man. They weren't that low. Like, we were ranked number 12 in the preseason poll. We had a legitimate player of the year candidate in Donovan Dent that we forked over $3 million for. Dent shooting under, 20% from 3 this year. He's missing free throws at will. It's one of these things where it's just very confusing to see what's going on here, man. It's really, really frustrating from somebody that really believed in this team. Like, Eric Daly was my guy coming into this year. I might just have to take an L on this. Daly, 20 minutes of action, 3 points, 2 field goal attempts, 2 rebounds, did nothing else. He just didn't affect the game any which way. It was almost one of those Tony Snell stat lines in the NBA where it's like a zeros across the board. It's really tough. I don't understand how there are possibly there's a lot of them. Cronin was the guy that built this roster. So I think for anyone to say that, it's not Mick's fault, this team can't defend. He picked the roster. He's been the coach here for 7 years. This is his team that he has assembled and put together. We were kind of hoping for a Jamerson or, Xavier Booker, game right now where it's like, these guys played at Michigan State, wanted to play there. Xavier Booker, he had a couple nice blocks, but 1 of 1 from the floor, 2 points, didn't do anything. Like, I forgot he was out there at times. And then Jamerson, just the unfortunate situation, 2 points, both came at the free throw line, got sent to the locker room. Really unfortunate. And Michigan State's a great team. This is not to, deflect from how good of a team Michigan State is. But to me, this was a game of blue bloods against blue bloods. 2 iconic basketball universities. And one university looked exactly like how they're supposed to look. And the other one, unfortunately, in the UCLA camp, was so far off of what the expectations are for when you put on those 4 letters, that blue and gold. It was disturbing, man. And I do want to give a shout out. Tyler Bilodeau he's the only reason this thing got just not completely embarrassed. It still was embarrassing, but Bilodeau had a hell of a game. 22 points, 8 of 16 from the floor, 3 of 5 from 3-point range. And that goes to show, between my last post game and today's post game, you know who the top 3 3-point shooters are in the Big Ten this year? It's Sky Clark, it's Perry, and it's Bilodeau. Those are the top three in percentage-wise. Yet we rank near the bottom of the list when it comes to three-point attempts. If Cronin was such a great coach, you look for advantages on every team. Our clear advantage is we shoot the long ball percentage-wise as good or better than anybody. And we just don't shoot enough of them, man. We don't get enough good looks. We don't set ourselves up for those opportunities. And I think that the shtick with Cronin always was his teams are defensive teams. By the way, not seeing a lot of it right now. Not seeing a lot of it. Michigan State had 82. Michigan the other game had 86, which is like 110 plus points for an NBA kind of ranked game. If you're going to kind of, add up what all those points are and just put them into an NBA kind of dispenser there. But the biggest thing is the 3-point shots, the not having a semblance of an offensive identity out there. I think Dent just kind of looks confused out there. He doesn't know what he's supposed to do. He doesn't know how to go about his business. We talked about Eric Daly's second leading scorer on the team last year with 3 points. Trent Perry kind of got a few buckets late there, granted, but 4 of them came at the free throw line. He had 9 points. This was just a bad team effort from UCLA. And are we going to miss the tournament for the second time in 3 years, guys? And there was a time last season in the middle of January where I thought we were going to miss the tournament again last year. We made a late season run. We were able to figure it out. But I very much think if Cronin had not signed that extension, we're talking about a coach that is firmly and squarely on the hot seat, and rightfully so. This is UCLA basketball, man. This is what this program, this school represents. It's Kareem. It's John Wooden, the pyramid of success. Bill Walton, Baron Davis, Tyus Edney, Ed O'Bannon, these type of guys, man. Jordan Farmar, Aaron Afal. I could name all of these guys. The proud tradition of UCLA basketball. It feels like we're slapping it across the face with what we've trotted out here the last 2 games on the road. It's a really, really rough time. I want to answer some of your guys' questions. It's been a really, tough night. Put some stuff in the chat, guys. We'll talk all about the game. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Let's see what we got here. Daly was minus 32 last game and minus 27 tonight. Yeah, Daly, I might have to just take an L. I thought Daly had a shot to be a very good player in this system. I thought he was a legit two-way talent. I thought he was going to be a guy that you can hang your hat on as a very efficient player. Maybe not the best player on the team. Maybe not an All-American like we thought Dent was going to be. But I thought he was going to be pretty solid, if I'm being honest with you. Silver lining, UCLA football got a surprising UCLA Super League. Yes, the new safety coming from Cal Poly is a big, big deal. So we are excited about that. Guys, I think we might be a football school with Bob Chesney here. As crazy as that sounds, when's the last time UCLA was a football school, guys? Who's Cronin going to blame? This time it's post-game interview. I'm looking forward to it. I think he's got to look himself in the mirror. I've been fed up with his post-game comments because you could blame everyone under the sun. But if you're not getting the job done and your team looks as disinterested as we've seen it these past few games, maybe you got to look yourself in the mirror sometimes, Mr. Mick Cronin. Where do we go once we get rid of Cronin? What the good thing is, Benny, is I still think UCLA, given the location, given the recruiting pipeline, given the history, given the new assets and a new chancellor that I think is really going to be pumping money into the athletics, I think it's still one of the most desirable jobs in college basketball. I'd put it on the top 8 of college of jobs within the sport. So I'm not worried about getting a new coach. I'm worried about this extension with Mick Cronin and how we have to keep dealing with, just flat out embarrassing performances. That's what I'm worried about. If you can't find someone to come to UCLA and coach in this recruiting pipeline where some of the best talent year in and year out are McDonald's All-Americans down here, millions and millions of people in Southern California and Northern California for that matter. We can go up north and recruit the good players up there. I think we're going to get whoever we want. Earl Watson's been a name that I've really liked for a long time, was an NBA coach for the Phoenix Suns. Legendary Bruins, has a lot of connections. I think a ton of people would pour NIL money. His former NBA cohorts, former teammates, players like that would pour NIL money back into the program. I've talked, off air and, off the record conversations with some of these basketball players. And they're like, if we got Earl Watson, this team would be, year in and year out a top 10 program. And I think that's really a big deal. I'm sorry I missed it. What do you think about Cronin throwing out Jamerson? I thought it was I've never seen anything like it, to be honest with you. The Jamerson thing with Cronin was incredibly confusing. The foul was hard. It shouldn't have happened. But I think the way Cronin dealt with it, because he has been connecting with Tom Izzo. That's his guy. He said it on the telecast. I think he was trying to show respect to Izzo. But it doesn't take away from you throwing your guy under the bus like that. Very old school mentality. Like, the notion of these coaches just throwing guys out of practice. Listen, I've said this on the last show. Like, I know I'm one of the old heads on the couch. I know you guys might be old heads on the couch as well. We have to admit, this next generation of kids, you have to coach and develop differently, man. It's just the way it works in today's environment. Like, Sean McVay is not a guy that's going to scream at you. He's not going to cuss you out. He's not going to embarrass you in front of your teammates. He breathes life into you. He motivates you. He pats you on the ass. He tells you what you're supposed to do, and you get back out there and play. Like, these guys in today's environment, that's the way it works, man. That's the way it works. It's just kind of one of those things. And, I think Michigan State's got a shot to reach another Final Four. They're always a threat with Tom Izzo. This is not about Tom Izzo. This is about how poor UCLA basketball has looked, man. And I just, as bad as a road trip as you can have, I feel for this team that's going to have to be flying back. It's just a tough time. I got my guy Paul chiming in. We need a coach that the kids admire and appreciate and will play great fundamental basketball like John Wooden. I agree, man. That's been the standard, and UCLA's been chasing that since Wooden has left, unfortunately. Unfortunately, John Woodens don't grow on trees. It's the reason he's the GOAT. And I think Earl Watson would be a very safe choice to really turn this program around the short term. I really do. That's my number one candidate right there. Or you could take a flyer. Like last Saturday, we're playing Michigan, right? Dusty May came from Florida Atlantic. He led Florida Atlantic to a Final Four. Maybe never happening again in our lifetime. Now at the University of Michigan. And he's doing a great job. He's tearing it up. My 2 cents, maybe you identify that next Bob Chesney when it comes to the basketball floor. Like Nebraska's head coach. When's the last time Nebraska, has been good at anything? Fred Hoiberg. I like that dude. It was an NBA coach. Hoiberg knows what it takes. I would take Fred Hoiberg, former coach of the Chicago Bulls, former Iowa State coach as well. Let's see what Hoiberg's contract is. You know what I mean? It sucks that Eric Musselman's getting all the talent in LA, man. It sucks. Earl Watson is that guy. Grackers, who's the answer, man? Who's the answer? I'm genuinely asking. I'm throwing out names. Why wouldn't Earl Watson be a good candidate? I know for a fact NIL would pour in from the NBA alumni that UCLA has. Recruiting would go through the roof as well. Give me suggestions, guys. I like Hoiberg. He's from Nebraska. I don't think he wants to stay there. Who else is out there? Maybe Jay Wright's on the market. I mean, that's reaching for the stars right there. He's a Philly guy. Watson was a coach for the Phoenix Suns, man. So he at least has NBA coach. He was a bench coach for a long time. But if you want to criticize, throw out a name. Throw out a name, brother. If we were serious about basketball, we'd get Rick Pitino. Now we're talking. Rick Pitino would be so entertaining. He's kind of like the Lane Kiffin that has achieved a lot more at the college level, just pure entertainment as a coach. I wouldn't mind. Some scandals come with Pitino. You got to take the good with the bad with Rick Pitino, right? I wouldn't hate it. But that guy wins everywhere he goes. He's like freaking Bill Parcells in the NFL. Rick Pitino wins basketball games and turns around programs. And I have no shadow of a doubt. This roster is talented. It's not the players right now. We are preseason top 12. All these analysts, all these people are not idiots. It's a coaching problem right now, guys. It's a coaching problem. I'm still waiting on my guy, Grackers, to give me a head coaching candidate. We just need to run up and down the court. This team is not built for any defense. And Mick Cronin built the roster. You know, he wanted it to be a defensive team. This is his team. He built it. I think we have to be honest about what's going on here, guys. Like, you can blame the players, but I think this is Cronin. What coach exemplifies John Wooden type principles in coaching? I mean, Jay Wright is the name that comes to mind that's out there. I don't know if he has any interest. It's kind of like Chris Peterson. Like, we throw him out for the UCLA coaching candidates. We did back when Chip was available. When Chip left, Deshaun came. And then when Deshaun left, you know, former Boise State and Washington coach. I don't know if he wants to coach again. I don't know if Jay Wright wants to coach again. But multi-time national champion winner, great values. These kids are always developed. He had those Villanova teams with like Jalen Brunson, DiVincenzo, Mikal Bridges, guys that, you know, Josh Hart. These guys would all behave themselves, handle themselves in great manner. Like, if you could give me any candidate out there to replace him, Jay Wright's at the top of the list. I just don't know if he wants to coach college basketball again, the grind that's exuding. My guy likes Chris Collins. Chris Collins. Let's see what we got. Northwestern coach. All right. Former assistant at Duke. How's Northwestern basketball doing this year? Let's see what we got going on here. Well, Chris Collins just got extended through 2030, so that's not going to work. Hate to break it to you guys. I don't think that's going to work. Let's see. He's 10-16 this year, dude. I mean, he's had a couple good years. He's made the tournament. I think Chris Collins is underperforming this year and got his extension. I don't know if he's the guy. Miami of Ohio coach, I see you on that. The year they're having, you want to get these coaches on the upswing. Collins, to me, he had those two really good years in 23 and 24. He was a 500 coach last year, missed the tournament. And then this year, far off in the tournament as well. Let's look it up. So here's my thing with Earl Watson. Was an assistant, was a head coach, assistant for the Raptors. He's currently an assistant at San Diego right now. He's played for 13 years in the NBA, guys. Like, I'm just going to bank off the knowledge there that this guy knows what it takes. And more importantly, he loves the Bruins. Loves the Bruins. Collins is nearing Mick Cronin status. In fact, he's doing worse than Cronin this year. So I got to say, I don't know if that's my guy. We need someone that can elevate programs, can sell these kids on an NBA dream, and make things happen. 49ers Rock. I take Watson and Miami of Ohio coach. Let me see what we got here. Who is the Miami of Ohio coach, guys? It's going to be Travis Steele. Let's look up Travis Steele's background. Okay, he was previously served as the head coach at Xavier. So he's at Xavier for 4 years. Let's see what he did. He's been really good at Miami of Ohio. 25 wins last year, 25-0 this year. Xavier, he kind of underperformed. So maybe he is a MAC coach. Who knows? How much of this is due to the injury of Sky? We had just started to get rolling and then boom. Not looking for excuses, but D didn't. TP just don't look the same. So here's my theory on this, man. Sky was healthy enough to play. And he's been playing for the last few games out there. It certainly didn't help, but I also thought Trent Perry was arguably a better version of Sky Clark when he was out there. Obviously, you want Sky there, but I think Trent Perry and Sky Clark's games are so similar that it actually hurts both of them being on the same team because they do the same exact things. It takes confidence from one another. So I'm just not 100% sure on that. I think it definitely hurt having Sky out, especially how he's shooting the basketball. I think he's leading the Big Ten in three-point shooting percentage this year. But with that being said, I mean, we've lost by 30 and 20, 24 tonight, 23 tonight. So he's back healthy and we're getting smoked. I don't think he's a particularly good defender. To me, he's a sixth man. He's at his best when he comes off the bench and tries to protect leads. To me, those are what six men are. Six men are bucket getters off the bench where maybe you're not a primetime defender, but you can heat it up. You're like the microwave. You're like a Lou Williams. Your job is to come and get buckets. If you have a 6-point lead when the starters go out and you bring in the sixth man, that guy should hold and preserve that lead through his bucket-getting ability. That's what I feel Sky Clark is at his best. He's a sixth man at the college level. The bright side, we didn't lose by 30. True that. I guess we're moving in the right direction if you say it like that. But just a sad, sad time, guys. I'm really, really disappointed what's going on. Any more questions or follow-ups? I'll stay on here if we keep the chat rolling, guys. I got nothing to do, man. This is I got a tough Tuesday night after this game. So keep these comments going. If we keep them going, I'm staying on. We'll talk more. Any other coaching candidates you guys would recommend? And I know my football candidates way more than my basketball candidates for reference. So I think Travis Steele, something to look into. Chris Collins, I wasn't as sold on. I'd like to see maybe some more good years at Northwestern. First season in a while, I turned off 2+ games. I know, dude. Only positive was John Fanta was calling the game. I don't think anybody loves college basketball more than John Fanta calling these basketball games, man. He is the truth. That man would die. He would take a bullet for college basketball. Those are the type of guys you want calling these games, man. That's what you want. Cronin is just not that guy. All right, guys. Well, it was a recap. It was a tough one. We are here for you guys. Please like and subscribe, guys. We are going to be here. We're on a quest to get 4,000 subscribers. We're at 2.6 right now on YouTube. It literally costs you nothing. Please help a brother out. Hit that like and subscribe button. Really means a lot to us, man. We want to keep doing this as long as we possibly can. And we need your guys' help, man. We need your guys' help to keep this thing rolling. We love you guys. This is all I think about during the room. Oh, Troy, trust me. The ladies team is going to win it all this year. We may even have, I don't want to spoil anything. We may have a Corey Close interview coming soon. Just going to throw that out there. Just going to slide that out to you guys. Hey, man, Kiki and Luca, thank you, man. We appreciate you guys. With one win, what could do to change players? If they beat Illinois, I think you're a legit tournament team if you win that game. It's a home game. We'll pack it up. We'll see what we can do. But, guys, much love. Really appreciate you guys. We are out.